So without further ado, a little bit about me real quick. I've been Finexio's head of product and operations for a couple of years now, oversee our product as well as a lot of our initiatives around this. I have been in multiple B2B payments roles. My latest one obviously is here with Finexio, but have spent a bunch of time rolling out multiple B2B platforms. And this is everything from checks at scale, doing about 2 million checks a day. Also multiple ACH programs, wires, of course, virtual cards. Spent a little time at Zealous as an interim COO, really looking to optimize their existing payment processes. And then, I've been excited to come over to Finexio, more, certainly more startup mode where, really we had a clean slate, a modern tech platform, all lives in the cloud and super secure. So we'll talk a little bit about that and the importance of security and also just transparency. If you want to learn more, you can certainly take a look at my LinkedIn. We will be sharing this deck post webinar here today. But a little bit about us, who we are and who we help and what do we do. Finexio was founded back in 2015 with headquarters in Orlando, Florida. Our CEO, Ernest Rolfson, is local native and really wanted to bring, a little more sort of startup initiative to the Central Florida area, which has been exciting to see over the, course of the time that I've been with the company. I'm actually based out of San Francisco. So we're actually a bit of a bi-coastal company, but what that really allows us to do is to take advantage of a lot of good sort of technical resources that we can find in the Bay Area, and there's a lot of great back office talent and other folks that are in Orlando, which has made a great sort of home base, and we're excited to continue to grow there amongst other places. A little bit about us. Right now we're managing a little over $5 billion in spend for our clients. And our clients today have upwards of 75,000 suppliers that they're paying. We've been featured in multiple sort of publications, Forbes, Sentinel, plenty of others. Feel free to take a look at our site if you're so interested. And then the way we really look at AP payments and really what I call commercial payment optimization is creating and finding the best payment modalities, the way to deliver payments. If it's a card, if it's an ACH, a wire, a check, an e-check, and then finding the appropriate partners to help us facilitate that. So we have a very close and tight relationship with MasterCard. I actually have some MasterCard alum with the company. A couple of banks that we work with, and a lot of what that entails is everything from card issuing to international payments to sort of cash disbursements accounts, where your money is always safe, and that's really key to part of what Finexio's tenant is. At no point does Finexio ever actually touch your money. It's all governed and run through multiple trust accounts that are actually for the beneficiaries that you're paying or you guys. So there's at any point there's never any risk that if Finexio goes under or any of our other clients behave inappropriately, that we would have access to any of the funds that our clients are dispersing. That's really sort of central, one of the central tenets that we sort of live and breathe by. And then in terms of verticals, so I've spent a lot of time in the healthcare space. Obviously, there's lots of money flowing in healthcare, but Finexio really set out to be vertical agnostic, right? Every company has bills that they're paying every month, and so we've been blessed to develop some great client relationships in multiple verticals. Higher ed, insurance, hospitality, legal, healthcare, construction, and food service, to name a few. And so we're really proud of the relationships that we've struck up and continue to sort of expand the vertical base that we work in. But I think important to note the way our platform is constructed, it's really agnostic. So we're designed to help in what I call that last mile of payments, where our goal is to help ensure that your payments to your vendors, your suppliers, are being delivered in the most efficient manner possible. And we'll talk a little bit about that, a little bit how we do that. But just know we are, very well versed in multiple verticals and a lot of the unique challenges that exist there. So generally, like, who do we help? And more generally, if you've ever looked at AP services, P cards, working with a bank to provide some type of commercial payment services, generally we focus on three primary stakeholders. It's the CFO, it's the controller, an accounting team, and then really the AP team. These are the folks that, for the most part, receive the biggest benefit from what we do. Everything from an increase in EBITDA, I'll talk a little bit about that, how we actually go and monetize payment distribution, improving cash flow. We know that's oftentimes a need of many of our clients. And so what we do is not only improve it, help smooth it out, all while also giving significantly stronger financial controls. So again, this is just goes back to security, ensuring that all of our clients are paying the folks that they want to, that they're not paying them twice or three times. And if there's any abnormalities, our platform's really designed to go and look for potential issues, flag those, because it's a lot easier to wait a day to make a payment if we identify an issue than to go back and try to get money back. Of course, we spend a lot of time on ensuring, there's automation, which makes just your life easier, takes friction out of what oftentimes is a very cumbersome process if you have a team that's dealing with checks, sending ACHs, maybe some wires to a few of your vendors. We manage all of that. And I think, any proper AP payments as a service, that should just be what they do, not one modality, but really all of your payments. And that's really what we hang our hat on. Of course, reduce staff workload. We can talk a little bit about that, but our goal is to really take off a lot of the burden that is traditionally associated with AP, whether it's writing checks, getting multiple approvals, wedding signatures. We've actually done away with those that have a full audit capability, if and when there's need for multiple approvals for various payments or payment sizes, et cetera. And then security, right? Security is really at the heart of what we do, ensuring that you guys have confidence that who you're paying is who they say they are, and there's no potential fraud either with bad actors within your organization or potentially your suppliers. And of course, Finexio takes security very seriously as well internally, and at no point would any of you be liable for anything that would happen within Finexio. But obviously happy to dig deep into security, but we've spent a lot of time investment. We have a great Chief Information Security Officer who has just a wealth of experience, and he's been fantastic in helping us develop a very strong security posture that I really think is probably best, if not on par with other folks in the game. So when we think about commercial payments optimization, Finexio really focuses on three main tenets. One is payment optimization, right? Let's find the best way to deliver payments to your suppliers, because one size doesn't fit all. In the traditional model of, hey, we'll just send a bunch of checks, wait for them to clear, have to deal with this escheatment if somebody doesn't cash it or it gets lost behind the couch, all that goes away with our service. And of course, what we really try to drive is electronic payments. The B2B world is still a bit archaic in terms of how they deal with paying vendors. So our goal is really just to make it more modern, make it similar to your consumer experience, right? Like Venmo, like PayPal, exactly when you're getting paid, how much you're getting paid, and you know where to go to find information should you have questions. And that's really what we base a lot of our sort of forward thinking on, and try to pull not only our customers, but then also the suppliers into a more modern experience that ultimately has a lot less friction and makes the process a lot more seamless. Payment term management, again, this is something, if you think about where Finexio plays, I call it the last mile. So oftentimes there's companies that will help you manage your invoices. You have your ERP system, your AP system. But what we see time and time again is multiple very large companies, publicly traded companies, don't focus on sort of maximizing payment terms. That's something that we take very seriously, and oftentimes find significant opportunities to actually save you money, in many cases generate newfound savings, or reducing your costs with your particular vendors. Discount identification and capture. So again, a lot of times, and most of you know this, cash is king. So being able to pay faster for your suppliers often results in you guys, again, either saving or actually creating a new revenue stream by focusing on that. And that's just part and parcel to what we do. Domestic and international payments, again, we get it. A lot of our clients have a lot of international payments, and we do everything from sending US dollars to multiple countries. Foreign exchange is certainly something that is within our wheelhouse, and we have some great partners that actually help us facilitate that. So it's not just the Orlando team that helps execute there. Second tenet is really supplier enablement, and this is really where I think our team shines. A lot of programs, if you looked at them from a bank or other vendors, it tends to be more campaign oriented towards your largest vendors, your largest suppliers, and trying to convert them. And that's a great place to start. But what we've seen, and again, me having done this, now 3 different companies, that only gets you so far. What you really need is a constant engagement strategy. You have to be listening to objections for why folks don't want to move to electronic payments, and then find solutions that incentivize them and create value for the suppliers. So at Finexio, just to give you an example, everybody's familiar with Salesforce. While all of our clients, of course, are in Salesforce, we made the decision early on that all of our suppliers, all the suppliers we're trying to pay, they're also in our Salesforce. We treat them as customers, and we make sure that the service we're delivering to them, and yes, we're delivering money, but we try to go above and beyond and make sure that they have the data in the format that they need it. They have access to it 24/7. They have tier 1 support that is available 24/7. They can talk to a bot, they can talk to a human, they can text us, email us. We really feel it's important to be responsive to suppliers to give them a great experience. Branded communication, right? We view every client relationship as a partnership, and we see greater success when we have the participation of our clients. And we'll talk a little bit about that later in the presentation. And then really transparency and security. We've touched a little bit on security, but we do real-time fraud detection and monitoring. We do real-time bank account verification. And in terms of reporting, everybody that we work with, including suppliers, buyers, channel partners, all have 24/7 access to our portal, which is, again, geared towards total transparency, very much like UPS or FedEx or USPS if you want to go track your package. Because ultimately what we're doing is we're in the delivery business. It's logistics, it's just data and money. So we spend a lot of time on ensuring that you all know exactly where your payments are at any given point. And if there's any issue, we certainly have alerts that will let you know via text, via email, or we'll give you a call if it's something that directly needs your attention. But otherwise, our team generally will handle most, definitely tier 1 support issues and ensure that payments are delivered on time to your vendors. Real quick, how it works. I won't belabor this, but again, payments as a service, it's really a very simple process at its core. All you need to do is let us know who to pay, how much to pay, and when to pay them, and we take it from there. We have multiple ways to sort of exchange data with all of our clients. I think that's important in this modern age. Of course, we have FTP, we have Dropbox style service, APIs for folks that are interested, and then multiple integrations into ERPs. Everything from QuickBooks for smaller providers to Dynamics to SAP. Obviously, we feel that's important. Actually, less important than I think a lot of our clients initially think, and we'll talk about that when we get to reconciliation and posting. But just know, like our goal is always to take as much friction out of the system for all stakeholders, be it our clients, which we refer to as buyers, and then the suppliers and vendors that they're paying. Then step 3, again, our system actually will go and determine the best route to deliver payments. And that goes from sort of the happy path when we know exactly who to pay and how to pay them to when things go wrong. So we have a waterfall methodology as it relates to payment distribution. If for any reason we're not able to deliver, let's say a virtual card or an ACH, our system will automatically go and generate a check, certainly as needed, or an e-check if something needs to be delivered instantly, or of course wires are available as well. And then last but not least is settlement information. So again, it's important for you guys as potential buyers to know when things actually got settled. The good news is you don't have to wait for checks to be cashed, cards to be settled across the various networks, because we handle all that. But we want to make sure that all of our clients have access to the information that they need. If there ever is a dispute saying, hey, I didn't get my money, we can clearly demonstrate that the check was cashed, the card was run, or the ACH did in fact hit the account. We just think that's imperative when you're moving money. So a couple of examples of when we went and talked to the CFOs that we work with, that they identified a few, again, key areas that they find most appealing, most beneficial to working with us versus continue to do all of this in-house. So onboarding and then the service, I think that's a big thing. Inevitably, you have to interact with your suppliers. Our goal is to make that ongoing sort of payments relationship something that you don't have to worry about, something that we can look to optimize, which then reduces workload for the finance and the AP teams, and that's been a big boon for a lot of our clients. You don't have to take my word for it. We have multiple videos online of some of our clients, and them touting the benefits that they've actually seen. And of course, we have references that are more than happy to talk at great length about what they've seen as the biggest benefit. Dedicated buyer and supplier support. Again, I think I've sort of touched on that. Bank reconciliation. So generally, this comes up as a concern because most of the time our buyers are sending out multiple types of payments: check, an ACH, potentially a card, or they have a purchasing card, and then waiting and trying to reconcile all those payments can be a pain. And what Finexio does is eliminates that entire burden. So to give you an example, rather than you as a client having to wait for settlements to come in, check them off in your system, whatever that is, if it's your ERP system, your accounting software, we actually have you fund one ACH or one wire, and then most AP systems will actually reconcile to that. So you can basically wipe your hands clean of the settlement and reconciliation, and then all the data that we provide in terms of transparency and how the payment was actually delivered is something that we make available, obviously 24/7. It becomes more anecdotal information if and when there's ever an issue, but it's always available to you as well as our team. But that alone has saved a couple of AP teams that will take a look at 25% of their time. We just don't have to deal with, well, what happened to that check? Did it ever get cashed? It didn't? Okay, we have to call the supplier. Just as an example for you. We talked about multiple data exchange methods. So SFTP portal, which is Dropbox style, if you guys are familiar, APIs, and then multiple ERP integrations. We think that's important to be able to make the interaction with you as simple as possible. Certainly low cost. That is one of the key drivers. If you want actual tangible benefits, our goal is really to shift away from high cost paper to lower cost digital payments, and or in many cases, with virtual cards, you can generate revenue. We can touch on that a little bit if you're not familiar. But really what Finexio does is we typically will reduce your check and ACH cost by 100%. In many cases, you as a client will get money back. So all of a sudden AP, which costs money in terms of time, labor, and then actual just direct expense with postage and printing, goes away completely. And again, we're always happy to show how that would be specific to you. Let us know later if that's of interest. So we take what has been traditionally a historical cost center, not very fun, not very interesting, and we take all that burden off you and ideally create a new revenue stream. A lot of the benefits that you actually see with Finexio come with the level of participation from our buyers, but as it relates to the suppliers, we manage 100% of that enablement. Ongoing interaction, ongoing tracking, we really think a key differentiator for us in terms of how we manage your suppliers, in a method that they're comfortable with, that they enjoy. So not only do we have testimonials from our buyers, but suppliers as well. We actually save them time. In many cases, they're willing to pay a little something for that time savings. And then security, we've talked about that, but we are a PCI level 1 certified payments platform, which we're proud of. It took us a while to get there, but again, it's all about keeping your data safe. We're actually HIPAA compliant as well. So if any of you are in the healthcare space, we can actually hold patient data, not that we're looking to, but we made the investment in our platform to be extremely robust, extremely secure. We get multiple third-party audits and testing all the time. We actually have bounty fees if anybody finds bugs in our code, which is all sort of standard SaaS posturing when it comes to security, but we're very proud of our platform and sort of how it's evolved and how it continues to evolve. So when you think about a company that does AP or really commercial payment optimization as a service versus traditionally banks, that's generally who Finexio would compete against. There's really sort of 5 key points that we like to stress, and one is opportunities created. So this is working with your suppliers. We make sure that we monetize and optimize every payment for every supplier. And in some cases, suppliers are only going to take a check. That's okay. We're not going to fix everybody today, but that also gives us an opportunity down the road to find something that does work for them that's more efficient. Oftentimes, bank will just say, "You guys sort of figure it out on your own. Here, we'll give you a P card, and off you go. See who's going to accept it." We just think that's not extremely helpful. Nor do generally our clients that work with banks see the biggest return that they could. Payment methods, we talked a bit about that. We have multiple payment methods. We don't try to upsell you on anything. It's all very cut and dry. We look to add not only payment methods, so this would be wire, checks, ACH, but also delivery methods. So we can deliver payments via email, snail mail, fax, believe it or not. We do have the ability to deliver payments via text. We don't have a lot of adoption there for businesses, but our goal is really to find the best payment and then find the best way to get it to our suppliers. And you'd be surprised as to who likes what. Healthcare is an example. Huge acceptors of faxes. That is actually the predominant way that a lot of healthcare organizations prefer to be paid. It beats a check. They don't have to wait on it. And it still fascinates me. So while I think we all thought faxes were a thing of the past, they're very much alive, certainly in the healthcare space, and just one of the methods that we support. Supplier enablement, we touched a little bit on this. Again, most of the time, banks will give you limited support. They'll do a couple of campaigns and then sort of wash their hands of it. Generally, the solutions that they offer are tangential to what banks truly want to give you, which are treasury management services. Whereas Finexio, this is all we do. So our goal, and we really only get paid when we're successful with you. So it behooves us to do everything we can to convert suppliers and be as efficient as possible so that you guys are satisfied, as well as suppliers are satisfied, so we have more payments flowing through our network. And then concierge support. Again, we pride ourselves on this. All of our clients get a dedicated account rep and analyst. We literally can work with you on a daily basis. We're available 24/7. Again, banks, you might have somebody that helps you with this, or who will connect you with somebody. When you work with us, there's no place, you don't need to go anyplace else. You're getting to the person that can either help make decisions, resolve issues, and really look for ways to optimize what you do. And I think if you don't have that today, it's certainly something to think about. And then data and reporting, right? So generally, banks are not going to go create custom reporting solutions, whereas we will. Our entire reporting environment also lives in the cloud. Again, very secure, but the way it's constructed is multi-tenant. So your suppliers have very similar access to what you have, so that everybody's working off the same page. There's no ambiguity as to like what was paid, when was it paid, and we think that's important. It just creates a much quicker, easier discussion when and if there are any issues. And again, Finexio is all tier 1 support. If there's actually a question or issue with the payment, that we handle 100% of that. Ideally, you never hear from your suppliers. The only time, generally suppliers will get involved with our clients is if there's a dispute about how much they're being paid. And again, we have very little say over that. We basically take your instructions and we'll execute on those. But we have custom dynamic reporting. Again, happy to show anybody a demo, but it's modern, right? Everything moves when you click on it. You can download everything. All of your data is available 24/7. And again, we think that's critical to transparency and to giving you guys the assurance that you know where your money is and that it got to the suppliers that you need to pay. So don't take it from us. Just a couple of sort of quick case studies. So Morgan & Morgan, we've been working with them for a little while now. They are a very large top 100 law firm based in Florida. So we have some great personal relationships there. They had a bank program. and it just really wasn't resulting in good supplier adoption, and they really weren't seeing any benefit. They actually saw it as a additional burden and cost. And again, a lot of that has to do with how many times banks approach AP programs. So Finexio came in, we were able to very quickly enroll an additional 500 of their suppliers into their network. We also saved them, these are the guys that we saved about 20% of their AP team's time, because what they found was a lot of their paralegals were making duplicate payments. So we were able to identify those, clean those up, and save us a significant amount of time for their team, and then actually give them material results. So instead of spending on their team, they actually got a check from us for 160K, which we're very proud of. And again, they've been great partners of ours and have really helped us focus on learning and developing expertise in the sort of legal space, especially for larger law firms. And we're excited to have them as a client. Other one, the general. So car insurance, Shaquille O'Neal's their spokesperson, if you've heard of them. They're actually based out of Nashville. In a similar story with them. So they've been a client for a little year and a half, and they're fantastic. But a lot of what they were doing was very manual. They were spending upwards of $9 to send out a check, and that was 90% of their payments. So hundreds of thousands of dollars were being spent, really just running their AP team, which we said, look, we can help you. Not only that, they were spending 30+ hours weekly on manual payments instead of letting their team really focus on things that truly add value. So Finexio came in, again, launched our supplier enablement campaign, leveraged our network, and we're quickly able to convert nearly 60% of their spend to electronic. That number is actually higher than what's reported here, because again, we have a continuous approach to enrolling suppliers and finding solutions that work for them. And so you can see, again, we're able to turn what was a historical cost center now into a revenue center. And again, the revenue our clients are actually able to generate out of AP, we found is directly correlated to how much interest they have in the program. We can just run with it. You can just say, hey, Finexio, here you go, take care of it, and we'll do it. But what we found is if we get a little more interaction, we start to understand your supplier base. We're able to be more effective with communication plans and approaches to particular suppliers that may be sensitive to how and when you pay them. Well, look, for those of you on the line, you don't know what to ask, always feel free to give us a shout. We would love to hear from you. Again, more than happy to show you a demo of how we do what we do and how we can potentially help you. Hopefully you have some perspective on a couple of client experiences and how Finexio approaches commercial payment optimization